Good morning. I have not been on live on Facebook for so long. And part of what I want to come on here and talk about today is pattern breaking in parenting, but quantum pattern breaking. And my voice is still a bit croaky because I've been ill over my birthday, March, and it's still a bit like, anyway. So what I want to talk about is quantum pattern breaking in parenting. And a part of that for me is quantum pattern breaking within my business. So that is why I am here live today. I loved doing lives before. I was always on live whenever I could, every week, every other day. And now I've placed boundaries in so that I won't be going live every other day, but I am hoping to be here live again with you twice a week. And I used to love it. I used to love connecting in with you, answering your questions. And then over the last 2 years, I've had a lot going on personally, and it just completely knocked me off the shelf. And I feel like in parenting, we can have that as well, because we feel like we know deep down in our soul when we connect in, we have those precious present moments with our kids. Maybe you're just sat with them and they're playing on the floor, or you're at the park out in nature and you're just looking at them and they're playing, and it's just like, you know, those bliss moments where it's just like, this is it. When you just feel connected in and so tuned in. And then in that moment, that's when we know this is how I want to parent. I want to parent in presence. I want to parent in connection. I want to parent from a place of knowing that my worth does not stem from my child's behaviour. That's a really big pattern that a lot of my clients come to me with. And you know in that moment that you're connected deep in with your soul and your higher self's knowing. It comes from a very deep space and a very high space all at the same time, because the universe is a paradox. So, but when you're in that space, you know that you're in flow, you know that it feels good, it feels aligned, because it feels effortless, it feels easy, it feels freeing, your heart feels open. So you know in those moments that feels right for you. And plus your child will feel happy. But that is not to say that when you feel down or low, or your child is not behaving in a way that feels easy and flowing and free, that you are not aligned. Because so many people get this one mixed up. And it's like, okay, well, if they're behaving like that, it must mean that I'm not aligned. It doesn't mean that at all. Because when you're always aligned anyway, it's just when you move out of the singularity space and into the duality of emotions and breaking patterns, a lot of the time these emotions come up to clear. So that's part of breaking the pattern. So if you find that you are crying and you're doing the emotional or the healing work, then that's part of this process. That's just part of your alignment and your experience. And you always create the experience that you need to have in each moment to move deeper into your soul. And that's really all that is. So if you feel like, oh, my child isn't listening to me, they're not doing what I ask, or I feel underconfident, or I feel like if they don't do what I ask, then later on in life they're going to end up like this, or this, and then whatever scenario comes into your mind, that's okay. All that is going on there is that the self-doubt is coming in from the ego mind. And self-doubt not only comes from our own ego mind patterns, but it is also created from when we are younger, from our own parents and what they tell us. It's created from when we go to school and school environment. It's created from society and society's view on how parenting should be, but it's also created from the collective at the moment of how we've been living for hundreds of thousands of years in the very much masculine energy of go, 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 do, get, gain. And that is where we then place our value on in doing rather than being. And so the mothering is very much nurture and love and presence and peace and playful. That's the sitting back into the feminine space. But again, these spaces are duality, so what we want to come into is presence. So it's just watching where those two spaces are. But when you are trying to place boundaries and break patterns, that is very much in the masculine energy of the doing and taking the action to change the patterns. So we can sit and meditate and we can go into the place of presence. And a lot of time when we do that, the patterns just automatically break themselves and we find ourselves doing things differently. But sometimes it is actually, we have to go into the deeper awareness of what is the pattern and then taking the action in our human form to change that pattern. So for example, if the pattern that you feel, it doesn't really matter whatever pattern it is that you feel within your parenting is coming up for you right now. And the way that you'll notice your patterns is by when your child does something that makes you feel angry, makes you feel tense, makes you feel not good enough. That's a big one. When these things come up, that's a mirror to you of your own patterns and where you can move deeper into the integration of your soul and into the embodiment of your own presence. So when these things are coming up for you, it's one, to have the awareness of it, that it's going on, two, knowing that you want to change. And that's where a lot of people get stuck, because they're like, I know that I want to change this, but I just don't know how to do it. I don't know where to go next. I don't know what next step to take. I don't know how to do this myself. And all of that stuff comes up. That's okay. That's, again, the ego mind coming up with your own pattern of I can't do this, I'm not good enough, or I need to tick this box, I need to fit in here, or what will my family, friends, everyone else say. And I did a video on that last week, actually, on raising your own boundaries. And sometimes when that happens, it's like when you decide what it is that you actually want from your own parenting and then you go for it and you claim it, then people will start to leave your life. And I think that's the point where so many people get stuck, because it's like, I really don't want this person to leave, but at the same time they're not respecting my values, my core values, and that I want to parent in a way that is connective and in a way that is conscious. And that's okay. If they are not at the same frequency as you right now, it doesn't mean that they're less than you and you're better than them or anything like that. It just means that you're not a match right now for each other. And you can still be friends with people or have family around you that parent differently to you, because a lot of people as well will go down that narrative of, I'm only accepting these people in my life right now. And then what happens is you are like restricting your energy, you become smaller, so you're not being in the expansive quantum field of everything you desire landing in, because you're making yourself smaller in that space. And it's all about respect. It's all about, okay, this person parents differently from me, that's okay, I can still parent in the way that I feel is right for me in my heart. In connection, consciously, whilst looking at my own patterns. And if that person doesn't want to stay in my life for whatever reason, because they feel like I'm going to mess up my kid or blah, 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 then that's okay too. And this is why like 99% of my clients will come to me about their parenting, and then they start asking me about their relationships and their love life. Because it's the same pattern that filters through to every single aspect of your life. So if you have here in your energetic grid, which is your parenting, and you are focusing on that and focusing on that and focusing on that, and you have this pattern coming up of I'm not doing enough, I'm not valuable enough, I feel like my child, no matter what I do, isn't working, my child isn't listening to me, I'm trying so hard to work on myself, I feel exhausted, I feel burnt out. All of that stuff is okay, but just recognize that where that energy is pushing onto that quantum grid, that space within your life situation, it's also filtering out into every other area of your life situation. And there may be like one area where you feel like, nah, I've got that, I'm good with that. And then there may be other areas where you feel a bit more like, actually that could do a little bit more work, or that's just like not quite where I want it, but it's moving in the right direction. So this pattern will filter out in different ways, in different areas in your life. In your life situation, because your life situation is not your life is your soul. Your life situation is just everything external of what's going on within. So in breaking that pattern, and so when my clients come to me and they'll say things like, oh, my husband or my partner is not on board with my parenting, or oh, I've just started dating but I just keep bringing in unavailable men, or I just feel like I'm not being heard, I'm not being seen, I feel like we're clashing, I feel like no matter what I do is being counteracted by this other person. And it's all the same pattern. When you break that pattern, then you'll start to notice that the shifts in all the other areas too. So when you're looking at this pattern and it's coming up for you, you know what it is already. You know what it is. When you see this pattern come up, in taking action on this, you move and direct the energy and the flow of where this energy is going the opposite direction. So, for example, if you feel like you are trying, and you're doing all the time. This is one of the first things that I do with my clients, every single client. It's always this fun all the time. I'm doing this, I'm doing the washing, the cleaning, I'm trying to work, or I'm like ready to go back to work, or I don't want to go back to work because of this reason, or I've got all the house to clean and tidy and I just can't keep up with it, I feel so overwhelmed. And I'm trying to look after the kids at the same time, and blah, 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 and be a good partner, wife, whatever the thing is. If you are do, go in that pattern, and you feel like I just have to keep going, and then I once everything's done, once my list of things to do is done, I will be okay, and I can just breathe and be in that calm space. If that is your pattern, then to quantum shift energetically into where you want to actually be in that space, first of all, you have to go to the feeling and the emotion and actually feel that within your body. But if you feel like even that is too much and like I just can't quite get there, I can see it but I can't feel it, you need to redirect your energy and shift an action within your daily life. So it may be that you just slow down on everything. And even when I say that, the ego mind, this is not you going into that space, the ego mind will be like, oh my God, I can't possibly slow down. If I slow down everything, I'll just go to shit and it'll all just be crazy everywhere and then I'll be even more overwhelmed. And that, if you go there straight away, then you know that this is a pattern of yours and you know that you want to break it, because otherwise you wouldn't be watching this video. So slow down. Take a breath right now, breathe in. Hold it just a few seconds. And then sigh it out. And then just on the out breath, just before the in breath, you feel a little dip. That space there is your connection to you, your source, your soul, you, who you are innately. That peace, that zen, that present space, that light pillar that is a clear channel. The quantum realm of parenting and beyond in all of your life situation. That space right here, right now. So just be with that for a moment. And feel what that feels like. Really, it doesn't feel up and down. It's not in the duality space. It's in the peaceful, present, calm, zen, serene space. The neutral space, that soul space, that is where children operate from. It's the only space they know, because when we're born as little babies, we come into the world as pure soul. Our brain and mind, ego, whatever you want to call it, has not yet been programmed in to our belief systems, societal belief systems, the collective belief systems. It's not yet been programmed into that space. So from a child's perspective, from a child's view, from a child's energy point, rather than dragging them in and pulling them in to all of these belief structures and programming all of that mind stuff in. I mean, either way the mind is going to be programmed. That's just part of being human. But it's like, do we want to program that space in connection and unconditional love, or do we want to program that space in with fear and shame, as we have had done to us? So rather than pulling them into that energetic space, it's more about us meeting them in their energetic space. And that's how you truly, completely, not only break the pattern, but then sustain creating that new pattern for a longer period of time. And when you access that space, that's when it becomes easy. That's when you're no longer saying, oh, parenting is so hard. That's when you're no longer believing that your child's emotions is who they are, because you see past that and you recognize that their emotions are simply energy expressing itself. And so you feel safe to hold the space for your child to freely express that emotion, knowing that it means absolutely nothing about you or them or the situation or your worth or your parenting or how they're going to turn out or anything like that. It's simply in that moment they have that emotion, and that's okay. But you first have to also recognize and do the same for yourself. If you're not allowing yourself to feel your own anger, if you're not allowing yourself to feel and really deeply go into that space of feeling the shame, feeling the sadness, feeling the grief, if you're not allowing yourself to deepen, then you also cannot allow yourself to expand, because the deeper you go, the more you expand. So you can feel all of those things from a safe space when you are in your soul energy. So what we just dropped into, that space, go there again and again and again. You just drop in and it's instant. You can feel it. And then explore the pattern. Then explore the emotions. And you have to take your own time out to do this. Again, if you're constantly do, go, you have to take the time out and claim that time for yourself. And that is your own healing time. That is your own investment within yourself time to quantum shift yourself into that space where you keep longing to be. Every day when you're feeling stressed out, every day when you're feeling overwhelmed and you're like, oh, and you come on here and then you see people saying, oh, it's easy. And you're like, fuck off. It's not fucking easy in this house. That, if you're feeling that, that's where you have to claim your own time and carve it out. Rather than sitting watching Netflix or whatever else in the evenings. Read a book or meditate or journal or join a course, hire a coach. All of these things that I'm saying right now, I've done myself, and I've changed for myself. So I know that it's possible for you too. Please share with me in the comments how you are feeling right now. What pattern is it that you are constantly seeing being brought up right now? Where's that mirror coming from your child? Do you feel like you are deeply aligned with your soul and trusting of your own intuition? Or do you feel like, I know what my intuition is saying, but there's some doubt there and I'm not sure? And everyone else around me, I keep asking everyone else, first of all, like friends, family, and people that are often actually not parenting in the way that I parent, what I should be doing. Or I find I don't talk to them about it because I want to hide it away and I don't want to tell them what I'm doing with my parenting, because if I do, then they're going to judge me and they're going to tell me what to do, and I'm going to feel even more shit and I'm going to spiral even more, and then our connection is disconnected. So tell me in the comments how you're feeling, what pattern it is that's coming up for you right now, and where you want to feel, where you want to be, and what would change for you, how you would feel if that pattern, the energy shifted and directed in the opposite direction. And you know what it is, what action you have to do with that. You just know innately. You know, if you don't, come to me and I will help you with it. But you know, and I won't help you with it. Well, sometimes I'll help you with it and give you the answer, but a lot of the time I will just like direct you to the core of your soul and heart, inner knowing, so that you just know instantly anyway, because you do know, and I know that you know, and you know that you know too. So just take another breath. Pause for a moment and just be. Children are always, always, always just being. Be, do, and have. Be, have, do, rather than do, have, be. It's the opposite. It's the opposite. Also, if you've got any questions, post them below and I will try my best to answer them. Again, I'm going to try and come on here every Friday and Monday to connect in with you all, to speak with you all, to share with you all, to invite you into work with me. And yeah, I would love to know what your patterns are and how you feel the process is going and changing that pattern too. So when you take action in the opposite direction of where that pattern is, and say for example if it is that your child is not listening to you and you're feeling frustrated, if that is the pattern, and every time they don't get their shoes on or whatever it is, you're like, come on, we need to get out of the house. Okay? That is showing you that you are rushed, feeling rushed, and that you need to slow down. So maybe it is that this is what I do. So after 6 o'clock at night, that's my cut-off point. If the dishes are not done by 6 o'clock, tough fucking shit, they're left till the next day. If there's toys lying around on the floor, oh well, I'm not picking them up after 6 o'clock in the evening. That's it, I'm done. And in that being done, I am not then upstairs in bed going, oh my god, you've got these dishes, oh my god, you've got these toys all over the place, oh my god, I didn't do that washing, oh my god, blah blah blah, and then making myself feel guilty in the process. No, you claim it, you own it. That 6 o'clock is my cut-off point, and if everything isn't done after that time, then it's okay. That's completely okay, because after 6 o'clock is my time. That's the time that I've carved out. So 6 o'clock is when we go up and I start getting my kids ready for bed, and that process begins. Whenever they go to sleep, usually between 7 and 8, sometimes 7:30, depending on what we're doing. And again, you don't have an expectation like of a definite sleep time, because then you're stressing, you're going into that rushed energy again. You're slowing it down. You're enjoying the time with them. You're being with them. So you give yourself the extra time. So between 6 and 8, 7:30, that's bedtime. And then once they're sleeping, then that's my time that I carve out for my own healing, for whatever I want to do in that time. So if you feel like you're rushed in the mornings and they're not getting their shoes on, it might not even have anything to do with them. It might actually be somewhere else in your life that you're stressed out about right now. And this is why so many people come to me about their parenting and they start talking about their love life. Because it usually has nothing to do with your kids, really. Usually it's to do with something else completely that's stressing you out. And let's face it, when we're stressed out, who is the one that gets it all projected at them? Our kids, because they're the easy target. You're not exactly going to go to like another adult in your life, or your best friend or whoever, and like bleh all to them. You might talk to them about it, but you're not going to project your anger onto them or your fears onto them. You're not going to do that. So often it then gets projected onto our kids. And then we feel guilty, and then that whole cycle goes on and on and on and on. And breaking that cycle and breaking that pattern, you have to move back within yourself. It's an inside job. And then the external action is that you go in the opposite direction. So if it is that it's got nothing to do with your child, and actually it's to do with you feeling like you are constantly attracting unavailable men, and then you have to go in the opposite direction of what it is you're doing there. So you have to sometimes cut them off, or block them, or delete messages, or delete phone numbers, and go in the opposite direction of where you've been going. And that instantly quantum shifts your energy into a different space. If the bedtime is feeling stressful, widen the time. Open it up. Slow it down. Release the expectation that they have to go to sleep at this time. If the getting out of the house is stressful, again, open up the space for yourself and slow everything down. Why do we need to get out of the house for this, and this? Have we booked like too much stuff to do into today? If you feel like I've got to get this, and this done, maybe cancel some things. And then the ego mind is going, oh, I can't possibly do that. I can't cancel all this stuff. Then this will happen, blah, blah. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. What do you want? What do you truly want? How much do you want it? And when I was in this space, I remember thinking, okay, where's my priority here? Is my priority in my connection with my kids, in our life, our bond together? Or is my priority in what everyone else thinks about me? And it's easy. Where's your priority here? And then you go and you direct your energy and your soul and your heart into that priority rather than focusing on that one. I know it sounds like easier said than done. And it is a process. It is sometimes difficult. And when you're breaking patterns, a lot of the time it's moving through that dis-ease and that discomfort just for a short time. And that's where the energy redirecting. You're going into the uncomfortable space. And you're owning it and you're facing it. And you're saying, yes, this is what I need to address and go into. And this is where I need to sit with and be with for a while and change. And then you move out at the other side into peace, into presence, into changing that pattern potentially for the rest of your life. I had a memory come up on Facebook the other day that was something like one of my biggest fears used to be drunk men. And I was like, fuck, I forgot I even had that fear. I forgot I even had that pattern. I had that pattern for most of my life. Up until probably, I don't know, maybe 3-4 years ago. And it's not even a thing anymore. It's not even anywhere in my energy anymore. It's not here because I've changed that pattern and I've released that pattern and I have imprinted and integrated and embodied a new pattern. And that, it never even comes up anymore. Like, I completely forgot that I even ever had that pattern. So this works. I used to have the pattern that if you don't punish children, then they won't learn to be a good human being. And I'd be like, because of what I teach. Because I teach calm and I teach connection with children and no punishments and no rewards. And that's the pattern I used to have. And I remember saying to my kid's dad years ago, well, if we don't punish them like the kids, then they won't learn. I don't think our daughter was born there. But I remember saying it. And that's a pattern that is no longer in my energy field. It's not even something I ever think about, ever. It's just not there. It's not like, and also the pattern of like, if you be good or do this for me, then I'll give you this. I no longer have that. I no longer have the thing of like, if you don't do this, then you won't get this experience. Because I've changed my whole entire energy system around that pattern. And the thing is that energy never lies. The energy within your system is always present and it comes up in some way or another. So that's the space you have to go to. Like, we know that everything is energy. We know that every single thing in this entire universe is energy, and every single thing in this entire universe is duality. It has an opposite. But the source, the soul, the oneness, the all connectedness, and that we are all one, that singularity space, that is where children operate from. And when you embody that space and integrate that space into your human vessel, the body, the mind sync up with that soul space, then you also do the actions and shift your direction of your energy in the opposite direction. Then what happens is you begin to create new patterns, and you're not only creating new patterns where you think this thing, you actually feel it, you embody it, you are it, you be it. And that's where your children will then begin to want to do what you ask them to, and your expectations are not, your expectations are higher but they're lower. And that is the thing of you knowing and connecting with your child in the soul space, where you know that if you ask them to do something, then they will do it, and because you've completely let go of the outcome of them actually doing it. You have no preference whatsoever whether they do this thing or not. That space. If you're holding on to, I need to get them to do this, otherwise I can't feel okay. It's not going to work. Instant disconnection. They're not going to do what you want. They feel it. They know it, because they can feel your vibration. They're integrated with you in that sense of, like, they are an extension of you, but they are not you at the same time. They are their own human being, and they're their own soul, their own person. And a lot of the time we feel like they are like mini versions of us, so that they are us, so we have that expectation they should just do what we say no matter what. And when you actually embody the soul space and the deep inner presence of just simply being with them and enjoying them and playing and having fun, then your expectations are higher, but they're also lower. And it's not that you don't have the expectation of them sleeping through the night, for example, because that's no longer a societal belief system pattern that you want to have. And it's not that you have the expectation of them to not do what you want from a place of, oh, well, they're not going to do it anyway because they're a little shit. It's not that either. It's that you've completely let go of the outcome. So you're no longer in this duality space of up, down, opposites. You're now coming from the soul space, and the mind can never comprehend that because it's only ever experienced. It's a feeling, it's an experience, it's a knowing. It's not a thinking, it's not a figuring out. So if you're going round and round in circles in your head trying to figure this out and going in all the Facebook groups and asking all the questions, and then you have everyone around you telling you what you should or shouldn't do, and you feel even more confused, and you feel like you just need to have some more clarity on this situation, then go within. That's all you need to do, is go within. And you know the pattern already, you know what it is. Sometimes the fear is there that if we break that pattern, then it's like, what will everyone else think about us, or what will other people say, or yeah, maybe some people might end up leaving your life, and that's okay too. That's what happens when you quantum up level, because you're now no longer in the same paradigm that you were in 5 minutes ago, 5 years ago, 5 weeks ago, whatever the case is. And this can happen really fast, but also you have to recognise that it's a process. And it's a process that, like, you need to give yourself that time. So I think that's everything for today. Thank you so much for being here. And again, if you've got any questions, then just pop them below and I will do my best to answer them. If you haven't already, go and join I've either got my Facebook group, Parenting Priestesses. There's some questions to get in, and go and join my Facebook group, or my email list. You can join my email list. I will pop a link below to the free heart opening meditation you can get, and then you join my list, and then you receive all of the blog posts, you receive all of the YouTube videos, you receive all of the guidance, and any like pre-enrollment that I do, I will always contact my email list first. Or you can join Spiritual School. The Spiritual School is an app that is away from social media, and that's where I also post everything, like all the free stuff in there, and offers to work with me, or any offers to any of the programs I create, and all of those things in there. So that's Spiritual School. If you want to work with me on a one-to-one basis, then either DM me or comment below, or visit my website www.theparentingpriestess.com, and I would be more than happy to explore your own patterns with you, where you are at, where you want to be, and actually energetically quantum move you into that space and work together on that. So I will speak to you all soon, and lots of love for now. Bye.